Welcome back to the fourth episode of the Razz&Dazz podcast. We got Daz on the top. I'm
What's
Raz,
up, guys?
and we got a guest feature, a great friend of ours. We used to always run Clubhouse with him. Great analyst, honestly, really. Like, he's really educated in the game, been watching it for a while. He's got a YouTube channel. We'll tag it in the link down below in the bio. Chris Lim in the house. What's going on, Chris?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. Really excited that you guys finally started a podcast because, you guys tease the public with your IG lives, halftime, post game, but we like to see like the slow burn, the long burn. You guys talking. So thanks for having me on. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you here. And speaking of topics, we are going to be going over a bunch of Laker news today. In particular, we're going to talk about some NBA and even some ESPN related news. But let's just jump right in, because in this past week, the Lakers have finally made some noise after essentially 2 weeks of no brand new news. The Lakers decided to bring back veteran Rajon Rondo. Obviously, he was a champion when we were in the bubble. But guys, I'm just going to give it to you. What do you guys think of this newest acquisition by the Lakers?
I love it. Like, we were just mentioning in the Instagram live the other day, Dylan, how, that 2000 era point guard style's back. And we needed that last year, right? With the pick and rolls, we had it in 2020. I don't know if Rondo's going to get that many minutes in the season. I think he's going to be really great off the bench, vocal leader. But yeah, I'm hyped. Chris, how you feeling about Rondo, man?
I mean, obviously, we remember what he did in 2020 in the bubble, right? I mean, playoff Rondo really came to life. Laker Nation, when he first became a Laker, it was a little touch and go. People were talking shit about Rondo. Like he wasn't, what he was with Celtics or whatever. But in the bubble, he really showed what he was made of, right? And if we remember last season and how the team flamed out in the first round, the team really needed another playmaker alongside LeBron. And so getting Rondo fills that need, another veteran presence. So I love the movement. And especially for the veteran minimum, like he basically finessed his way to getting a decent payday. And then he finds himself back on the Lakers a year later. I think it's like a stroke of genius on Rondo's part. And I think we're all benefiting off of that. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, you guys said it best. I think one of the things that both you guys said is playmaking and leadership abilities. And that's exactly what I'm happy about with Rondo back on this team. I really think he's going to have a huge impact, not only on like as himself on the court, but also the players around him. Because if we even look at last season with Dennis Schroeder, for example, this guy cannot run a pick and roll for his life. And so now that we have Rondo back on this team, especially alongside Anthony Davis, who they were teammates even with on the Pelicans, I'm very happy to have him back. Raz, like you said, he's probably not going to get a lot of minutes, but the minutes he has are going to be extremely crucial. And even if he's going to be a nice veteran role that can kind of take over and fill that Jared Dudley void that we have right now. So he's a great pick.
I enjoyed your guys' discussion on Schroeder, the last podcast episode.
Bro, I'll sit here and continue hammering him down, bro. I mean,
I'm okay. I got to be honest. I'm a little bit sad that Schroeder didn't work out because I was really excited when he became a Laker. But, I think everything worked out the way it should have worked out. And I know Raz was a big Schroeder hater for a while there. So, I mean,
quarter into the season.
So you got to be thrilled, right? Now that it's Rondo instead of Schroeder for the minimum instead of like $100 million contract that he was wanting.
He's of course, dude. I was looking at some minutes on Rondo. So in 2020, he played 45 games for the Lakers. This is the season. He averaged about 17 minutes. And last season, he only played 18 games for the Clippers, but he still averaged about 20 minutes. So that's kind of interesting. I think his legs are fresh. Do you guys think he's ready to go?
Yeah, I think you guys talked about it somewhere that Ty Lue and the Clippers coaching staff, they weren't really using Rondo the way that Frank Vogel did in 2020, right?
Yeah.
You guys mentioned that somewhere.
Yeah,
probably in the lives.
Late in playoffs, they benched him the entire time. My brother's a Clipper fan, and I was even like on him, like, dude, you don't know who this is. This is playoff Rondo. The Clippers should be playing this guy right now. And they just decided not to. There was even a little, I don't know if you would want to call it an argument, disagreement between him and Kawhi Leonard. And so I don't know.
That look that he gave.
Yeah.
Kawhi,
So I don't know if that led to something that obviously led to Rondo getting benched, but needless to say, Rondo's back in the purple and gold, and I'm very happy with how he's going to be. Just his role in this team is just going to be massive on and off the court.
We're hyped, man.
So that's not the only signing by the Lakers this past week. One of the other signings is, I think, maybe a fan favorite. I don't know about you, Razz. I know you're kind of iffy about this, but DeAndre Jordan, also a former Clipper. He was on the Nets previously. A big man in this league. I believe it's his 16th season, so he's definitely a veteran. He's got his miles in. What are your guys' take on that? Because I'm going to just ask you guys this in addition to your thoughts. The Lakers are not getting any younger. If anything, we're getting older. So what's your guys' take?
I mean, I'll keep it quick and then we could dive more into it, like to see how we're going to use him and everything on the offense and defense. But he's 33. I think maybe 16th season or maybe 14th. I'm not sure. We could look that up right now. But
I got you.
Yeah. So I feel
think
like
he came in the same year that Westbrook came in. I think
probably he's 33.
It's like 13, I think.
But DeAndre to me is like, he shouldn't get that many minutes. I don't know. We got to see, how healthy his legs are, how quick his stamina is, and if he still got it, like, is he going to be able to defend the high pick and roll like Dwight? Is he going to be able to cover the floor? I guess you could throw in a big body, but I feel like, we saw that with Drummond, right? And I feel like Chris would agree with me, and you, Dylan, you would agree with me. Like, do you think he'll clog the lane, especially now that we have Westbrook? Maybe they don't play at the same time. I don't know. We got to wait and see,
Just for quick confirmation, it is going to be his 15th season.
Oh, 15. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Better than our other guys, man.
Dude. Hey, I take it back. He's making us younger.
Dude, Rondo and DeAndre Jordan made us younger. That's kind of crazy.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go off a little bit on this one, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I want to rewind to 2019. Okay. 2019, DeAndre Jordan signs a 4-year, $40 million deal with the Brooklyn Nets. Okay. It's like crazy money at that time. He was already on the decline, right? The Nets basically signed him because they wanted to, it was a sweetheart deal, right? Kevin Durant's his homie. He's hooking up his homie. It was another way to entice Kevin Durant to sign with the Nets, right? So he got that big deal. He plays here and there, whatever. He's not the same. He's not the Clippers DeAndre Jordan, obviously, right? This past season, he gets completely left off the rotation in the playoffs, right? So he's like a non-factor. And so the Nets are trying to desperately find a way to get off his contract, so they buy him out. So you got to keep that in mind also, right? Brooklyn paid him $10 million a season, whereas the Lakers are paying him the veteran minimum. So keep that context in mind, right? Second thing is it all depends on your level of expectation with DeAndre Jordan. Are we expecting Clippers DeAndre Jordan averaging 30 plus minutes a game, a dominant rebounder, shot blocker? Of course not, right? We're expecting 10 minutes a game here and there, right? Basically spotting Dwight Howard minutes or whatever, right? So that's the second thing. And the third thing is, there was a time when the Lakers were really short on big men. I want to bring you back to LeBron's first season, if you guys remember that.
Lonzo, Kuzma.
It was basically the starting center was JaVale McGee and the backup center was Kyle Kuzma, if you guys remember that. He was playing backup center and Kuzma was getting torched by just every big man in the NBA on defense. And so for that reason, I think having another big body that can just be there on the interior defense is a huge plus. And we got him for the veteran minimum. So I like the signing. I understand it. And we know Anthony Davis is not going to play the center position for most of the regular season. So you're saving Anthony Davis also by picking up another big man. So I overall like the signing for all of those reasons.
Yeah. Real quick. So you were talking about how, we got a bunch of vet minimums, right? And now DeAndre is part of it. So there was like this thing I saw online where Evan Fournier is making 19.5 million
I saw that too. Yeah.
for the Knicks next season, right? That's 1 year. All right. And then Rob basically signed Melo, Ariza, Bazemore, Ellington, Nunn, Dwight Howard, and now DeAndre for 17 million. Can you imagine, guys? Like, that's crazy. So it's not like a negative factor to have DeAndre, but I guess we got to see if, you know, Dwight and him are going to work like JaVale and Dwight did. Dylan, what do you think about that? Like, do you think they'll be able to cover the same amount of like the floor like JaVale and Dwight did?
It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, we've had a private conversation about this already. I don't think he's going to be as efficient as JaVale. I really like JaVale when he was on our team starting. I thought he did a fantastic job in that role, and also allowed, you know, with the combo of Dwight Howard, it was just a nice hybrid of the two players. And we were really powerful in the paint. You know, even with AD at the 4, it worked extremely well. So I do think now having another really big guy on the team alongside AD, if we have him at the 4, it's going to be nice. If it's Dwight Howard starting, if it's Jordan starting, I really like this move. I think he's highly underrated, and I think he has something to prove along with this rest of this team. And I think this is the time for them to show really the world what this veteran team is capable of doing.
Who knew? Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I'm not worried about the offensive side at all, right? Because like LeBron's gonna make whatever, like he makes everybody look good, right? Especially guys that roll to the rim, right? So I'm not really worried about his offense. It's the defense, right? It's like, can a big man, do we have a big man that can guard the pick and roll? Because that's basically what torched the Lakers in that Phoenix Sun series, because they just ran pick and roll after pick and roll, and the Lakers made DeAndre Ayton look like an all-star, basically, right? So do we have a big man that can defend the pick and roll? Obviously, Anthony Davis is like the best big pick and roll defender in the NBA, right? We all remember, like, bubble AD was like fucking incredible, right?
He should have been defensive player of the year.
We didn't have bubble AD last season, right? So it was basically like Andre Drummond, Marcus Gasol. They got exposed a little bit on that end, right? So it's going to be. I'm confident that Dwight Howard can defend the pick and roll, right? Marcus Gasol, not so much. DeAndre Jordan, maybe, but we're not asking DeAndre Jordan to be the primary like big man for this team. So I think it's going to be fine.
I ran like a poll today on my Instagram on Razz Topics, and I asked a question about DeAndre. I want to see where it's at now. So I asked how many minutes should DeAndre Jordan get. I put 8 to 12 or 12 to 20. About 65% of people said 8 to 12. About 35% said 12 to 20.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, do you think maybe AD is going to be saved to play center for the fourth quarter in the playoffs? Because I still don't see AD playing the 5 all season long. Like, there's no way. Dylan, how are you feeling about that? You know what I mean? Do you think it's going to be like a load managed kind of vibe in the season?
I'm going to be honest. I think it's going to come down to his health. I think that's really what it's going to come down to. With Anthony Davis and how banged up he was last season, if he's confident in his body and he's looking good and he's able to really play that 5 position at his best capabilities, then I'd say so. But if he's not able to, we're definitely going to need a guy like Dwight, who, let's be honest, Dwight is a bully in the paint. I mean, this guy can get in there. Even in the bubble, he reminds me of like a center version of Rondo. He's just very, very tricky with his game. And so if AD can't bring that level in the paints, I don't think we should force him to it, because health is wealth, especially for a team of this age. And so that's really my concern with AD at the 5.
Yeah, and then we were talking about Mark. I guess we could talk a little about Mark, right? So defensively, he's not going to be there for us, right? I feel like sometimes, you know, when it was like kind of like, you know, an isolation play down low, he's smart, but, you know, modern NBA, right? Everyone's moving so quick that he has to always spread the floor, and he just can't, like, you literally see him like hands on his waist, like breathing, you know, out of his ass. Like, do you guys miss that? But I feel like Mark, though, would have been good to have somewhat instead of DeAndre, because of like all the shooters we got. You know, he would have spaced the floor, you know, facilitate. We got more shooters now more than ever since even 2020. So it'll be interesting to see if Mark's coming back now that we have DeAndre. So I don't know.
What do you guys think about that? Because now that the Lakers signed DeAndre, I feel like there are rumblings of like is Mark going to go? I personally feel like the Lakers need 3 centers on the squad. Just
Why not?
Exactly why what Dylan said about like resting AD and kind of preserving his health throughout the regular season. I feel like the Lakers do need 3 centers. But like, what do you guys think is going to happen to Mark now that DeAndre is here? Or do you think he should stay on the team? What do you guys think they should do with Mark?
Go ahead, Dylan.
That's a great question, Chris, because Marc Gasol is another one of those players who's getting paid a veteran minimum. He's due $2.7 million next year, this upcoming season. And so with a player like Mark, I do see there being scenarios where a player of his caliber, his passing capabilities, his ability to spread the floor, and shoot the three as well. I mean, let's not forget, Marc Gasol at one point in his career was shooting like 8% from the 3-point line. Last season, he was a little below 40. So
not bad.
With a center that can spread the floor like that, especially with the team, now that we have Russell Westbrook, who really likes to drive sometimes, and he'll get in the paint himself. We have LeBron James, who's hopefully going to be healthier than ever. He's notorious for getting in there as well. I think spreading the paint is going to be very important for us, because just a quick look back, even at last season, when we ran, especially toward the end of the season, our paint was just so clogged that we were just not.
Andre Drummond,
exactly.
Drummond. No calf muscles, none whatsoever. Does not know how to jump.
Exactly, but perfect example, Drummond.
He's got the junk in the trunk though, make up for it.
Yeah, for sure. Broken toenail, Drummond. Continue. Sorry.
The paint was just clogged, so I think Marc Gasol does provide a alternative solution if the situation presented
that
itself.
game two in the Phoenix series, he hit like a couple of threes, and that helped the Lakers.
Oh yeah. Oh, you were talking about Marc Gasol. Yeah.
We're
traumatized from that whole thing. I was at the game 6. I'm still traumatized.
Well, I was at game 1, so
no, you went to a great you went to a great game. I think game 2 was the better game though, right? Was it?
Yeah. Well, okay, so for everyone out there, I live in Arizona now, so I went to game 1 of the Phoenix series, and that was with the whole who was it that Cameron Payne and Alex Caruso got it?
Nice.
That whole dust up, right? And that was not good. It was a fun game though, but I heard all of the Suns fans say, "Fuck you, LeBron." I'm not talking about like 50-year-old grown men saying,
jealous.
"LeBron, you're a bit like
jealous."
Yeah, it was not good.
I want to add on Marc Gasol. I think when it's all said and done, like I really do think he's gonna go play for his his hometown, because these international players have a lot of like culture, for like a lot of pride for their culture. And he's, what is he, 36, like maybe almost 37. Imagine he just wants to end his career there. Obviously he has a chance to win another ring, but he knows he's not going to play that much. I think.
You think he's going to go this season?
I feel like I don't know. I think about it. Like, he had a great career, and like now he's going to end it in Spain. I feel like just because these international players have a lot of pride, like I could even see like, I could even imagine like Giannis or Luka one day just wanting to like mess around and go there, because
right.
They show a lot of pride. I mean, that's probably not likely, but who knows? Maybe
Powell's playing there. Powell's playing in Barcelona right now.
There you go. He might, take those steps. But Dylan, do you want to add on anything about Mark or DeAndre?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, I do think there's, again, situation that might present itself, but overall, I don't expect him getting much playing time.
Do you want Mark back on the team this upcoming season?
I would.
Well, okay. Well, I guess let's look at the team then, because a good question is, if we did get rid of Mark, who would we even replace him with?
Right. That's exactly the
James Ennis. Is that what the word is? Like another.
Okay, so yeah, people are saying James Ennis. James Ennis is like 6'6".
Yeah.
Let's talk about it though. I mean, but what is he going to be able to provide to this team that we don't already have?
Right. Exactly. Like he's a floor spacer, right?
Is he like a Wesley Matthews 2.0 in a sense? Like, I mean, without the 3, maybe. I don't know much about his game, honestly. So, Chris, do you know how his game is?
I just know that he like got horny in the bubble and tried to bring a chick into his hotel room, basically.
Okay, then we should move on and talk about
allegedly. I don't want to claim anything like on the record here.
We should move on and talk about the clout chasing clickbait bozos in ESPN ranking us a C- for our offseason grade, and they gave the Warriors an A-. Like, what do you mean? What does that mean? Is this for longevity? Is this for the offseason grade? Like, I'm confused. Do they have like the right route here. I guess they gave us a C- because of Russell Westbrook, right? Those, like Chris, you were just mentioning earlier about the advanced nerd stats, talking about, Russell Westbrook limiting our play because of the shot selection in the playoffs. We're definitely not a C-. The whole media was calling us a super team, So, I mean, how you guys feeling about that grade?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, I like the Westbrook pickup, right? I do, even though I want to pour one out to KCP because I was a big fan of KCP these past 2 seasons. So like that was tough to swallow, but I liked the Westbrook pickup, right? Because I mean, it's obvious, like a guy that can average a triple double for a season, 4 seasons, like why would you not want that on your team, right? Another thing, if you remember in this past series against the Phoenix Suns, right? It was so frustrating to see this team. I think a lot of Lakers fans were like, can someone else make a play other than LeBron James, right? That's what like so many people were clamoring for.
Dennis Schroeder.
Do you think that Russell Westbrook will ever be passive on this Lakers team? Like he will go down swinging, go down guns blazing, right? So like for that reason alone, I think the Westbrook pickup was great. But I feel like so many of the analytics guys, the people that are just so fixated on numbers, they like look at his 3-point shooting percentage, they look at his free throw shooting percentage, but they don't factor in like how hard he plays every play, every game, and like how much of a leader he is for every team he's been on. So I think that's why we get these like C grades from
minus
these
from
experts. You know what I mean? So it's what Lakers fans have to deal with. It's called the Laker tax, basically, right? There's been a Laker tax forever. So it's something that we just have to accept at this point.
So I pretty much can summarize why we're getting C- by the word of clickbait. Even without even getting into basketball and the whole positioning and in the team layout and everything, it's all clickbait, because when you have the opportunity to sign not only Anthony Davis, we traded for him, but then also we add on a Russell Westbrook. So now we have 3 superstars. We are a trio of superstars in Los Angeles. And Chris and I were talking even before this podcast, and there's very few teams in this league that can say that. Chris, who were they? I mean, we were talking about the Brooklyn
Warriors, Milwaukee. I don't know.
That's
if
it.
There's anything else? Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. And so,
and to add to what you just said, I mean, back when the Anthony Davis trade happened, all of these media outlets universally said that the Pelicans won the trade. So
wrong. Yeah. And so look, what I'm trying to say is, I think whenever you have the opportunity to trade for a caliber player of Russell Westbrook, you obviously do it. Rob Pelinka knows that very well, but just, I don't understand how these analysts, if they even want to call themselves that after giving the Lakers this grade, they must be blind and not know anything about basketball to say that. Because we also signed Carmelo Anthony, who obviously still has a little bit of gas in the tank. He's here to win a championship. I mean, we signed a bunch of great players. We got Kendrick Nunn on a veteran minimum contract when this guy deserved money.
What about Monk?
Wait, he got okay. So Kendrick Nunn got the taxpayer mid-level, but
sorry, correct.
But
oh yeah, he did.
I wanted to ask you guys this. Okay, let's just say the Brooklyn Nets signed Malik Monk to the veteran minimum instead of the Lakers. Do you know how universally lauded that signing would have been if it was any other team except for the Lakers? But because it was the Lakers, I feel like no one's really talking about that signing. You know, they're just focusing on the age of the players and how Westbrook is going to clog the lane. But Malik Monk, if he signs on any other team, I feel like everyone's going to just universally applaud that signing. You know,
that was a fantastic move. I mean, obviously we did lose a good group of guys, KCP included. We lost Alex Caruso. We lost Kuz, which we really developed.
But I don't want Kuz.
I got to be honest. This team, compared to last year, we grew and got better tremendously. Exponentially got better than last year's team. So, I mean, even Dennis Schroeder alone, Lakers deserve better than the C-.
Yeah. I wanted to say, like, you guys were both talking about how, all these critics like clickbait, like we got Russ and they just look at his shot selection and all that. But I feel like these writers and whatever the hell you want to call them, clickbait kings, like they're just like forgetting that James Harden was in Russell Westbrook's shoes. Like the guy was taking bad shots. Yeah, he shoots better than Russ, of course. He's probably top 5 elite scorers in a long
In
time.
the playoffs, though, they're very similar.
That's another thing, right? So that's a great point. Thank you for adding that. So it's like if James Harden, and we've said this before, Dylan, you've said this, Chris, I feel like you agree with me as well. If James Harden did it with 2 of the top 3 ISO players in the last decade, I think the 3 top ISO players are KD, Kyrie, and Harden in the last decade, right? So if Curry as well somewhat, but if James did it with KD and Kyrie, why can't Russ drop his ego and, take a smaller, lesser role and not be so aggressive all the time? Like, I'm sure in the season he is, but once playoff comes, he's not going to be doing that stupid mid-range shot he takes all the time. He's not going to do that. Not under LeBron and AD. There's no way, I feel like they're forgetting that,
I mean, LeBron James is one of one. He's like arguably the greatest of all time. So I feel like Westbrook will kind of concede a little bit to LeBron. I just kind of feel that way. And second of all, I lost fucking $500 because of James Harden's ass. So I do not trust him at all. That game 7 against Milwaukee, I put my money on the Nets. And what does Harden do in overtime? He bricks 2 open 3-pointers. So I'm traumatized from James Harden.
I feel it. Did we just get upgraded on Zoom? What happened?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we
Whoever's
did.
this far in, we just got a notification, but we're good.
We are coming close to the end of our time here. But let's finish up this conversation and I guess talk about what you guys are looking forward most to with this current roster. If it's Carmelo, seeing him potentially have a chance at a chip. If it's LeBron and AD just being healthy again, what are you guys looking forward to most?
Chris, you want to go ahead first?
Okay. I think it's 2 things, right? I think it's pick and roll defense. That was, like I said earlier, that was obviously a big problem for us. So Dwight Howard coming into the fold, I think that's going to help a lot, healthy AD. And then also bench scoring. We got a ton of bench scoring. Carmelo, Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk. I don't even know who's going to come off the bench or start yet.
Trevor Ariza.
So yeah,
like 70% of Laker fans want Melo to start, and I don't think that's a good move.
I don't think he's going to start, but bench scoring I think is going to be a huge thing to appreciate this upcoming season.
I think, as well as, just that passion. Like last season, we had like Trez come out with the grit. I know Dylan's a big fan of Trez, always wanted him to come out in minutes when we were down because he had that passion in him. But I think, and I've talked about this before, I might be reaching deep, but I like what Rob did by bringing in all these vets, former Lakers, because it's like they have a purpose now. Like last season it was just boring, all the injuries and all that. But this season, I'm just looking forward for that chemistry again. Dwight doing his thing. I'm sure DeAndre is going to add to the chemistry. And I want to see LeBron load manage in the season. I don't want to see him go crazy because in 2020, he was doing nice, but it was all like, preserved. Like he wasn't going that crazy. He didn't need to. And I want to see that back in Lakers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Great takes, Razz. You actually said my first is passion. And going back to last season, like you said, Trez was really only that guy that came onto the court if it was the 3rd quarter and the Lakers were struggling and he was there hyping everyone up. But we were able to bring back a group of guys that are very passionate. They're very vocal on the court in Russell Westbrook, Rajon Rondo, and also Dwight Howard. And then obviously you sprinkle LeBron and AD on there. So, we're going to be a very vocal group. And those are characteristics that we saw specifically in the team that won the championship in 2020. So I like a kind of team of that nature. But second, one of the really big things that we've been missing is the fans in Staples Center. Last season, we had it toward the tail end. And this next upcoming season, we are finally going to be back on track with having fans at the beginning of the season, hopefully, knock on wood, throughout the entire season. And so I think especially with all these guys, Melo, Trevor Ariza, obviously an NBA champion with the Los Angeles Lakers, just having all these guys back on the court in Staples Center, the crowd just roaring. It's going to mean so much to this team. And I think that's really what I'm looking forward to.
Dude, yeah, I think the capacity was like 30%. And when I went to that game 6 in Phoenix, not in Phoenix, in LA, it was literally like a library, bro. It was so bad. Terrible.
Dude, compared to the game that I went to in Phoenix, it was fucking full. Like you wouldn't even be able to tell that there was COVID going on.
No, I hear you. But yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you, Dylan. I feel you, Chris. You know, more episodes coming in through. Should we close out with anything else?
Yeah, guys, if you guys got this far in the video, make sure you go like the video and subscribe down below. And also don't forget to go subscribe over on Chris's channel. The link is going to be in the bio. We also have a giveaway going. So if you guys are interested in winning a free Russell Westbrook jersey, I'll pop it up on the screen right here. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe to our channel, like and comment down below for 2 entries into the giveaway. Razz and I haven't determined a date yet, but if you follow us on social medias, which are the links down below, we will be announcing the giveaway officially, the end date, and so on.
Buy Laker Boost merch too.
Oh yeah, dude. Dylan got all the boot, all. I just said Dylan got all the boost.
Come on,
That's
man.
hilarious. No, but Chris, it was great having you, man. I think you know.
Thanks for having me on.
We're gonna definitely throw you on every few episodes for sure, bro. And you know, I can't wait for the season to start because
I mean, people don't know we have our group chat that's going on continuously. I mean,
Clubhouse.
that's a little too lit for public consumption, maybe. But it's always good to chop it up with you guys.
Likewise.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Peace.
Peace.